Hi, my name is Tyree Simon,
My name is Sergio Marquez.
and this is Play Action Episode 3. How you doing, Sergio?
Good, good. How about you, man?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. Sorry we couldn't be on here last week. Some personal things that happened, but I'm glad to be back.
Definitely had to be back, man.
And you, sir, you've had a good 2 weeks, huh?
Oh man, 14-2. Here we come. Yeah, man. Be scared. Danny Dimes is the best quarterback in football right now.
You know what? This whole scenario is just so weird. It's
Oh my
so
god,
weird, especially
so
when you look at
freaking weird.
especially when you look at who was playing against each other. You had Danny Dimes, we're gonna call him now, versus Dwayne Haskins, and Danny Dimes like the better draft pick than Dwayne Haskins.
You're right. I mean, do you think any of us would have thought that draft night? Absolutely not.
Oh no,
I was
no,
calling
absolutely
for
not.
Gettleman's head and for Danny Dimes' head that night. I was wrong. I'm happy I'm wrong. I am so happy I'm wrong.
And we're gonna speak more to that. But first, let me ask you, Sergio, how did you think the week 4 went? Did you enjoy the games?
I'm gonna have to call you out on some shit.
Really,
You know what I'm gonna have to do.
really?
Dak Prescott.
Oh my God, you want to go there?
Oh man. I told you he's gonna face a legitimate defense and he's gonna suck, like I said. He didn't break 100 yards into the third quarter, man. And you're gonna tell me right now he's a really good quarterback? Come on. The guy is bad. It
Well,
was
well,
proven.
I'll tell you in a little bit why he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Oh man.
Um,
This is why I didn't take any stock in the first 3 weeks. He was facing bullshit defenses. I mean,
well, we'll see. We'll see. Here's what's interesting, right? So my impression of the week 4 is that a lot of teams, the Chiefs, the Cowboys, look a little off this week.
the Rams. I don't want to say the Rams were looked off, but
Yeah,
it was shocking. They put up 45 points, but it was shocking how like the game in general.
right. It's interesting because this week, especially we're gonna talk about Patrick Mahomes didn't look himself really. Dak Prescott didn't look himself. Jared Goff didn't look himself. Matt Ryan is nowhere to be found at this point in
Oh
time.
my god! And then
Um,
and you heard the problems going on in Minnesota
no,
with the wide receivers calling out Kirk Cousins because he can't make any of the deep throws, basically.
would not be surprised.
I mean, honestly, that and to think they gave him what 85 guaranteed.
Yeah,
So
something like that.
such a waste of right now. It looks like a waste of money in general.
Yeah, we're gonna delve into that a little bit. But man, so your impressions of week 4, good to you?
Uh, it was a unexpected week in my opinion.
I agree.
Where you had the Browns. I going into that game, I didn't think the Browns were going to play that well and win by so much. I thought the Ravens were going to be better. I didn't think the Bucks were going to be able to keep up with the Rams in general. I mean, I had them in one of my suicide pools,
Hmm.
thinking, "Oh, Rams are going to cover easy." You know what I mean? It's against the Bucks. Who was to think the Bucks were going to put the most points up in their franchise history? No one
Exactly.
expecting that. Honestly, not even to try to take shot. I didn't think the Raiders were going to win this week. I thought the Colts were
Really?
better. I did think the Colts were a better team overall, but you guys did come out really fast. You guys came out and you basically punched them in the face, and they didn't respond.
Yeah.
And then also Tom Brady looked really bad, man. He looked like a mortal.
Well, it's interesting, right? And we'll go through the scorecards, the score right now. Patriots beat the Bills 16-10. Um, the Bills are a surprising team. Like I don't think it's necessarily Tom Brady looks bad. I just think that the Bills are a legit team this year, and
No,
that nobody's giving them enough credit.
no, nothing to take away. I think they do have probably top two defense, at least pass rushing defense in the
Absolutely.
league. But statistically wise, if you just take away Tom Brady's statistics and just look at that,
Yeah.
knowing who Tom Brady is, it's not a good game for Tom Brady, especially to his standards.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you have? 100 something yards. He had one touchdown. It wasn't up to his standards of what you expect from Tom Brady, week in and week out. And it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. You know, the guy's he's human. He's gonna make mistakes. He's gonna have bad games. But knowing what we know about Tom Brady, it's like you expect a little bit more. But no, they won, so who gives a shit?
Yeah, it was more of a defensive game anyway. A
Right.
lot of it came down to the Bills' defense, which again, we're saying probably one of the best in the league, if not one or two. And then the Patriots defense showed up as well, proving that they're one of the top defense in the league.
I agree. I completely agree. That
You
and this is actually one of the first few years that we've seen, not all time, like recent in Tom Brady's era, but this is one of the few times that Tom Brady's defense is actually one of the better defenses in the league. Because you usually see that they're not good, or they're middle of the pack throughout the whole year, but then come playoffs they always find a way. You go 90 yards, but you can never go the last 10 yards. It's always like that with them in the playoffs. This year, it seems like they're just stopping everybody in general.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with, I honestly, last year seemed like the defense was good. This seems like it's more of a continuation from last year to this year.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the pieces of, Malcolm Bennett was good. Stephen Gilmore is showing out. Yeah, I like this Patriots defense.
I completely agree.
And when an offense like the Patriots, no Antonio Brown, obviously for obvious reasons. Um, their offense is not as, I wouldn't say strong as it was before. So I think they want to rely more on their defense a little bit here, just like in these games.
Yeah, it's true, but I mean, they never really had, besides Randy Moss. When was the last time they had an explosive receiver or explosive offense in the sense that they had superstar players everywhere? So their defense was always supposed to be the one, and in the playoffs, it always was what they relied on. If you really look at it, because
Mm.
in the defense, it was always in the playoffs. The defense always let you go 90 yards. You go in there, you get into the red zone, but they always kept you to a field goal. For some reason, you could never score on their defense. Now, and that in the whole regular season, like I said, they were middle of the pack, and then playoff came. But now they're one of the top ranked defenses, and like you
Yeah.
said, it does come down to all the players you mentioned having. And on top of that, I mean, Bill Belichick is always going to be a genius schemer when it comes to play to setting up the players the right way, having them
100%.
exactly. But I mean, statistically, it wasn't Tom Brady's game in general. Just at the end of the day.
Yeah, I credit some of that to the Bills' defense. The Bills this year the Bills are really really good.
Do you think they compete for a wild card?
The Bills?
Yeah.
Remains to be seen. Remains to be seen. I believe the quarterback is hurt. I believe, right?
Yeah, he's under concussion protocols, I think.
Yeah, so we'll see how that shakes out. I didn't see an update as of today, so that's not good. Or it could be, but I mean, at this point in time, without that quarterback, Josh Allen, I don't know if they can survive without that kind of a leader as quarterback.
I did think that this year he was not to say he was having a breakout year, but he was definitely showing improvements
Yes.
from what he did last year in his first year.
Yeah.
He's starting to show like he's actually taking steps in the right direction. He's actually starting to learn more how to read a defense, go through his options instead of just trying to pass into double coverage constantly.
Yeah, and again, I also think it's the AFC. The AFC is so strong that I don't think the Patriots can relax a little bit. I think they have to play every game as it is a playoff contender game. Like you got the Bills who are good. You have the Chiefs. You have the Ravens. There's so many good teams that just can sneak up on you anytime.
So from this game specifically, the Patriots game, does this change your idea of them? Because we had this conversation on the show before and in private that the Patriots, before they signed Antonio Brown and he wasn't playing, they looked like the team to beat. They looked like they were running through teams left and right. Does this game showing how they didn't score a lot of points? It was, like you said, mostly a defensive game, and that they can win. But does this change your idea of maybe if they go against a high-powered offense? Because let's be honest, the Bills aren't a high-powered offense.
I agree.
So, do you think if they go against a high-powered offense, they're still the favorite to win? Do you think that it changes anything where you could see them losing to like a Chiefs, to like the Ravens, to one of these other big name teams?
Yeah, I think that's true. I think the Patriots are still the team to beat in a lot of respects. You know, we look at the veterans on that team. Look at Bill Belichick. Look at Tom Brady. They've been to the dance before. They've faced teams like this before. They showed that in the Super Bowl last year. With that offense of the Rams. So I think they're still the team to beat. I think unless they're out of that situation, they're always going to be the dark horse in that Super Bowl contenders.
Okay, okay, I understand.
If that makes sense.
No, it does. I understand. I agree. I definitely agree.
The Chiefs are a good team, but we've seen in this game against the Lions, they can be beaten. They are mortal.
No, you're absolutely right. But doesn't that also say that the whatchamacallit, the Patriots can be beaten too? This week, that's the one thing I think this week did show. There's a little crack in their armor, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like there's a way to beat them. If you have a legitimate defense, right now it can stumble Brady. Whereas in past times, it was times where Brady, even with a good defense, Brady picked apart the defenses and ran roughshod through it, no matter how good the defense was. But this year, and it's one game. I'm not going to overhype
Yeah.
it. But this did show that there may be a little crack in the armor where Brady's not going to be picking apart such great defenses like he used to anymore.
And I mean, the same can be said about the Chiefs. And we have the
Right.
Chiefs. The Chiefs are one of the dark horses in that. One of the teams that could possibly go to the Super Bowl this year in the AFC. They look beatable against the Detroit Lions, who were game as well as the Bills. So I think it's one of those things where the competition is just good this year, and it's not like the past where in the AFC the Patriots can skate by a little bit and win a couple of these games pretty much handily easily. They're gonna have to work a little bit.
No, I agree. I did think that I agree with you in the Chiefs sense. It does show it. You're right. Absolutely right.
Yes. But moving on, the Titans beat the Falcons 24-10. Marcus Mariota threw 3 touchdowns in the first half.
That was bad. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Question for you then:
Mm-hmm.
Is the Matt Ryan era over?
It's not over. It's not over by any stretch of the imagination because again, we always have to remember that this is a guy that once led a team to the Super Bowl. This is a guy that at one point was talking about one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So that to me is always going to be a factor, but it's not looking good. It's not looking good when you have Julio Jones on your team.
4 straight games that just look really bad, man. Like there's something missing on this team, man. And Matt Ryan isn't playing like you said. I agree. Couple years Super Bowl team. He was considered one of the best quarterbacks, but the last 4 games he's looked really bad.
Well, here's this. So Matt Ryan right now is second in passing leaders, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he has 124 completed passes, 176 attempted. So it's not great. 1,325 yards so far. This work is crazy. 8 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. So that pretty much tells you the story of Matt Ryan this year. The fact that he has the ability to be a great quarterback in this league. He has the weapons besides him to be a great quarterback in this league. Julio Jones, if not one of the best wide receiver in the league right now. And yet, he's still throwing interceptions almost every single game.
I want to say it's mental that there's something up with it, but it's not. I don't want to pick on Matt Ryan. It's not only him. His O-line's not playing that well either.
Mm-hmm.
Their defense looked atrocious.
But the defense always been bad. It's not. That's not like
no, but the last couple of years, there was times like the Super Bowl run. Last year, there was spurts and glimmers of hope where you had certain players at certain positions where you're like, okay, if we build around them or if they learn a little bit more, they're going to be really, really good. This defense doesn't look like there's anything. There's no glimmer of hope there. It looks like everyone's just playing really bad, and it's probably one of the worst defenses in the league. And
No, I think it is one of the worst defenses in the league, besides maybe the Dolphins.
I agree. I completely agree.
But Marcus Mariota looked pretty damn good. But again, with that defense and with Matt Ryan not being Matt Ryan, it makes me think. Do they think about maybe getting rid of Matt Ryan?
That's the thing, though. He owed a lot of money too.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to take a huge hit, and then on top of it, if you want to trade him, there's no one gonna want to take that contract in general, or take a 36, 37-year-old quarterback at this time. Especially no, not even, because the Dolphins are tanking for Tua.
Are they?
I think so. I mean, I don't know if they're tanking, but they're definitely gonna lose every game and get Tua.
I think that's more the correct term.
They're not doing this on purpose, but
no, not at all.
They're gonna lose every game.
Yeah. I don't know, man. The Matt Ryan situation is. I still have hope for Matt Ryan. I still think he is as talented. His numbers show he can pass the ball for sure. He just got to handle the ball a lot better. But it does raise the question, man. What does this Falcons team do? What does this franchise do? Your defense has always been a problem, but you always relied on your offense to be able to carry you. When Matt Ryan's not able to deliver it to you, and you can't really throw it to Julio Jones, you're throwing interceptions left and right almost every single game. It defeats the purpose.
Okay, I got a question for you then.
Sure.
All right? I'm pulling up the rest of their whatchamacallit, the schedule right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see where the hell it is. Here we go. Okay. They got the Texans next, the Cardinals, the Rams, the Seahawks, the Saints, the Bucks, the Panthers, the Bucks, the Saints, the Panthers again, Niners, Jags, Bucks. Do you see them winning another 5 games, or do you see them competing for one of the top picks in the draft?
Just reading off the names, man. The only team I see like, that could be an easy win for them, or that could be a clear decision to say they're the winner, would be the Cardinals. That's the only team that you listed off that I can say definitively, yeah, I can see them being the Cardinals.
I completely agree. That definitively, they probably will win the 1-1s at the Panthers and the Bucks and the Saints or whatever.
Yeah.
But like you said, I can't see them going on a 3-4 game winning streak. There's no consistency there to prove that they could do that.
No, and you would think like a game against the Titans, who are not the best team in the league no far, or not even in a division. They're probably behind the Jaguars, in my opinion, and behind the Texans. Even behind the Colts, really. They're probably the worst team in that division.
Oh, you did say that the Titans are no pushovers. I'll give you credit to that. You did say that the Titans are not a team so you're gonna walk in there and just run over them.
No, but I don't see them with that offense and that. I didn't see them overpowering the Falcons. I thought the Falcons were able to put up more points and able to run over the Titans.
I did think going into the season the Falcons wouldn't have a problem with the Titans, but this is just I'm very interested to see what they're going to do after this year, depending on how it goes with Matt Ryan. Are they done? Or it also depends what they get in the draft, what pick they get in the draft. Because if they get a good pick and say they have a bad year and they get a good pick where they can get one of the top quarterbacks like Tua, like Justin Herbert, one of these big guys, I wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons pull the trigger and say, listen, Matt, we got you for one more year. I think we're going to let you play. We're going to have this kid sit behind you teaching him, and he's going to be a new kid after.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening, and that's one of my my guesses of what can happen if it keeps going down this road. My only thing is this is a Falcon team that we once said was a Super Bowl contender franchise, and it says a lot about the organization where this was a so much Super Bowl contender, and now we're talking about possibly even tanking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You never hear about a team that was two or 3 years ago, going to a Super Bowl and on track to win the Super Bowl, and now you're talking about potentially tanking the season to get a quarterback or get a hot draft pick next year.
Yeah, absolutely right. It's very rare. But and you know what it is? It's the same offense too from that time. That's what's
Yeah,
even crazier about it. It's not a real
yeah.
change in the offense, but it's
Julio
just not clicking.
Julio Jones still great in his career, still in his prime. It's I don't know, man. It's something that I'm looking closely at. Just see what the Falcons do.
I completely agree. It's definitely something I want to keep an eye on, especially for the rest of the year. I really do want to see how they end off. And to be honest, it's very interesting to see what their plan is going to be going into the draft.
Yep, but again, I can't remember a team that 2 or 3 years ago were Super Bowl contenders, and it's just been such a downward spiral since. It's I
It's
can't I
tough.
can't
It's
think I
definitely
can't
tough.
think of I can't think of another team or a time where this has happened.
And honestly, it's very, very rare because, like you said, if you're usually a Super Bowl contender, you usually have one of the a set quarterback, a couple pieces locked in. So you're not going to be in a year, 2 years, maybe even 3 years tanking already. It's very rare to see that.
You have the
So
same again to your credit. You have the same players that went to the Super Bowl
yeah,
for the most part.
exactly. At least on the offensive side,
Yeah,
and they added two with the slot receiver Calvin Ridley. So they added another weapon too.
exactly.
So it's a very weird, odd situation that they have in Atlanta. I really want to see what it turns out to be because personally, I don't think Matt Ryan is done. I think there's something mentally going on. He's not because I don't think he's fully focused because he's not playing like the Matt Ryan we know, and
No,
it's unfortunate.
it is unfortunate. It is unfortunate that again we talked about Matt Ryan being one of the best quarterbacks in the league at one point, and now he he looks like honestly at this point, he could be a backup in the next year or so.
It's very possible, very possible.
Which is again, it's crazy. It's crazy. But your point, the Browns beat the Ravens 40-25. The Browns look like they're back. They look like they finally are hitting their groove. The Ravens defense, I don't know
I,
what
I,
happened.
I throw this up for a fluke. I throw this not a fluke, but I'm just saying this is one of those games that the Ravens they just didn't have it. They woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I don't think this is what the Ravens are. I think they're going to be a legitimate team competing for uh, either I don't want to say Super Bowl place, but
They're going to the playoffs.
they're definitely going to be in the playoffs. And I wouldn't be surprised if they scared. They're going to be scary to face, and they can if everything goes right, they can make a deep run.
Yeah, again, I say this week 4 is one of those weeks where everything just seemed off. Everything
Yep.
just seems off. Everything that Patrick Mahomes seemed off. The Tom Brady seemed off for the most part. Dak Prescott seemed off. A lot of the teams in week 4 seemed off a little bit.
I agree. You know who
But
did it? The Giants.
you know what? Even in that, even in that, Daniel Jones didn't have a phenomenal game.
But we got the win, bro. Don't try to ruin my
Yeah,
good.
but yeah,
I'm happy. I'm happy. We got to
but
win.
even, but even looking at the Washington side, Dwayne Haskins talking about like an off week or just a weird week. Dwayne Haskins, we talked about potentially being better than Kyle Murray. I said early on he's probably better than Kyle Murray. Now
I,
we're higher.
I'll
He's
give him
performed
this.
as well.
I'll give him this though, and everyone's getting on top of him for him being so bad. There were some glimmers. There were some passes. Obviously, as a total, it was a bad game. But there were some glimmers and some passes where he was throwing on the spot, or even he when he ran it in. I think it was for the touchdown. He ran it in, or he ran into like the 3 yard line.
Mhm.
That was it. Showed that the guy is somewhat mobile. Everyone's saying he just stays back there and just gonna throw. He's a pure pocket passer. The guy could move around a little bit. He's not Eli Manning, who the minute he gets out of the hash marks, he's going straight to the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear what you mean. So let's key on this let's keep on the Giants and Washington for a second, shall we?
Okay.
So Washington only scores 3 points in the second quarter, just a field goal, and the Giants, who I mocked about 2 weeks ago, who I criticized about 2 weeks ago, who I said they were dead in the water about 2 weeks ago. They have now won 2 games in a row.
12 more, baby. 12 more.
It's in such the strangest of times. We're now seeing the rise of Daniel Jones. We're seeing Eli Manning take a back seat. We're seeing a revitalized Giants. Your top running back is not even playing anymore. Wayne Gilman steps in. He's looking good. What a weird time.
Oh, it's so strange. But I don't in the Saquon talk, I don't want to see him the rest of the year. Don't want to see him in the field at all. Don't even come to MetLife. Stay home. Go back to he's from Jersey. Stay at his parents' house in Jersey. Don't come back at all. Nothing. I don't want to see him near MetLife this year.
So refresh my memory. What was the injury?
Detected at the front.
What was it? It was something to do with his ankle. I think it was.
I believe so. Which in theory, if it's a high ankle sprain or anything like that, he could return.
Yeah, his ankle. He hurt his ankle.
Motion detected.
I mean, so theoretically, he could return. I mean, later in the season if he wanted to.
He could, but the thing is, I'm obviously talking out my ass. Our high point this year is if we go 8-8. That's if everything goes right and everything the way it looks like. That's how it is. We're probably gonna win 3 more games at most. We're probably gonna win 2 or 3. I don't want to waste a year of Saquon just getting hit left and right for it to mean nothing. You know what I mean? Yeah. I want him to rest his ankle 100%. Just let his body relax. You know, he took a lot of hits last year. He was getting hit every 5 seconds last year. So I wouldn't mind for his body just to relax this one year and bring him back next year. But good. You know, next year it's going to be a full year with Daniel Jones. It ain't going to be the 2 games in or whatever. And it's going to be a full training camp with Daniel Jones as well. And he's going to have a full offseason with Daniel Jones. So he's going to actually be able to build all these types of connections with him. And I think that would be good, especially with him coming back with fresh legs. There's no point in wasting his legs right now if we're not going to do anything. You know what I mean? There's no point in that sense because, yeah, let's bring him back to just keep getting hit, to waste a year of his body, basically. And we don't get anything from it.
Let me ask you this. Let's say if the Giants were to get into the wild card position, would you want Saquon Barkley then? Or would you want to rest him out until next year?
It depends. To be honest, I do think he'd probably give us the best chance of winning. But it also depends. Like, if Gallman's going off, I'm not going to try to mess up the chemistry that they have there. If you're telling me Gallman's giving me 90 yards a game, 100 yards a game, right, and a touchdown or whatever, and he's playing a key part of this team, as much as I love Saquon and as much as I think he does give us the best chance to win, that chemistry to me is so important. I'm not going to mess with that.
I agree.
That chemistry is probably the most important part because who cares if they're the best player? But if they don't mesh with each other, there's no point in it. If Gallman and Danny Dimes are meshing together, they're playing well, they on the same page all the time, I don't touch that. Let it keep going for the rest of the year.
So let me just read you Wayne Gallman's stats. Wayne Gallman had 18 carries, 63 yards, and 1 touchdown. He also had 6 receptions, 55 yards, 1 touchdown. So he had a really damn good game.
If he's doing that consistently, and not to say obviously going to win everything, but Danny Dimes feels confident with him back there, I don't touch it. I let Saquon rest this year. I'm like, you know what? We'll bring you back next year. You're going to build a chemistry just like that with Danny. You're going to have all the time. You're going to have all the preseason, the training camp. You're going to have all off season, and you're going to all have whatchamacallit, the whole season together. So it's not just going to be, okay, you missed 6 weeks, and then we're just going to throw you back in there because that's going to mess up the whole flow, especially if we're doing good.
No, yeah, I think you're right. I think that, Saquon Barkley is somebody that, he's more of a long-term type of player. Yeah. You want to rush back in if he's, maybe not 100%, but maybe 85 or 75%. I wouldn't want to rush him in there, especially when he's going to be your future. Let me read you Daniel Jones' stat. Daniel Jones was 25 and 31, so 25 completed, 31 attempted, 225 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions.
I said from the beginning, I'm riding the up and downs. I expect the game that he's gonna have 2 interceptions, 3 interceptions, no touchdowns, and he's just gonna look bad. I knew it was gonna happen. The guy's a rookie, and we kind of did just throw him into the fire, so to speak.
You did.
So I'm not expecting him to pull a Patrick Mahomes and throw 50 touchdowns and 5 interceptions all year. You know what I mean? Like I expect him to mess up. I expect him to throw interceptions, to make the wrong reads, to throw into double coverage, to try to run it when he should have thrown it away. Shit like that. I expect it. And you know what? I'm okay with it. If we lose the game, I don't care about the wins or losses, to be completely honest with you. I just want this kid to learn how to play at this level, learn to make the right reads, and just catch up to speed and how fast this game is at the pro level is compared to college football. I want him to learn that now, because I know we're not going to. Even if we make the playoffs, our defense is not good enough to keep up with these top offenses. So I know it wouldn't mean anything. So I'd rather just worry about him getting the time that he needs to learn how to play football at this level.
Let me just say this, and I know it may not be even really comparable. It can, but it may be hard, different teams or whatever they're playing against. But Daniel Jones so far has having a better start than Eli Manning.
Yeah, he has. Eli Manning just like first 5-6 games.
So he gave you 2 consecutive wins. So far, and they both played 2 games, so that you can't compare. They both played 2 games. He's already ahead of them in terms of yards gained and passing and completions and attempts. So that's good. I have to say, I think I made the right decision. We didn't talk about it last week, but I think the Giants made the right decision. I think it was something that was weighing on their mind whether they should give up on Eli Manning or they should keep him. And they made the right decision so far. Daniel Jones is a great leader for this team, and at the same time, this team looks rejuvenated. Jabril Peppers, who we questioned. Okay, they give away Odell Beckham Jr. for Jabril Peppers. That is chump change compared to what Odell Beckham Jr. did, but he showed up too. Jabril Peppers had an interception and running back for a touchdown.
He did. You're absolutely right. And I mean, I agree that Daniel Jones does have a better start. It's 2 games, like you said.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't want to say he's going to be obviously better than Eli. Obviously, I do think right now I'm a little on cloud 9 because we won 2 games. I wasn't ever expecting that this year at all.
Yeah.
But I do think draft night, I hate this kid. I did not want him. And it's wrong for me to blame the kid. It's not his fault. He didn't ask to be drafted by the Giants. But, I was like, what the fuck? Why are we drafting him? I'd rather have Haskins or, somebody else.
Glad you brought that up.
It looks like right now, from all the reports that we've gotten of how he's in the locker room, how the players look at him, how he's been playing in general, how he studies film, all that. Positive thinking, obviously, hoping for the best. It looks like we're going from one franchise quarterback to another one.
You know what? I see the same thing. I see that even in the games, he didn't look unfazed. Like he was thrown right into the fire, like I said earlier. Doesn't seem phased at all. Seems like it's just another day at the office, and he's performing.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? I was okay with them throwing him into the fire because, I mean, like I said before, what do we have to lose? We're not going to be really competing this year. Why not just get even if you lose it, if you went 0-16, that's not the point of this year. Everyone, if you actually watch the Giants and you're an actual Giants fan, you should understand that this year we're not going to compete. And if you thought you were competing, you'd be delusional, and you're not actually a real Giants fan because you don't pay attention. So you should have known that this year was just rebuild. We're gonna get all our younger players some experience. We're gonna get a lot of our rookies experience, and this was the point. Get Daniel Jones on the field and just see what he can do and hope he learns as he plays. Yes, 14 games to learn as much as he can. If we lose all 14, okay, so be it. But let the kid learn how to play. So then next year, we have a chance. Maybe we do compete for a wild card spot. Maybe we do compete and surprise people. But he needs to learn first. And I was so okay when they said that they're going to start him over Eli.
I want you to hold on to that thought real second. But let me just stick to the opposite. Let me stick to Dwayne Haskins, who we talked about. Should the Giants have went for Dwayne Haskins? Well, Dwayne Haskins comes into the game, had nine completed, 17 attempted, 107 yards, 3 interceptions. Did not have a good showing. This is something we talked about, in preseason where he looked a little iffy, and we were questioning, okay, this Dwayne Haskins or just a one-off game. He was thrown into this game, and we're seeing almost the same results. Are we starting to question Dwayne Haskins?
No, I'm not. This was his first regular season appearance. This was the first time he actually got into a game and actually was like, what, this is yours for the rest of the game. He had it's 9 passes that he completed. I understand that, but there were some glimmers here and there of him making a nice throw, showing off his arm stretch, and like I said earlier, showing off his mobility.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to kill the kid. I'm not going to say he's a terrible quarterback off of one game. Because for all we know, next week, I think next week they face the Patriots coming up.
I don't know. Actually, please put the schedule up while you can.
They're facing the Patriots.
Okay.
Obviously, this is not going to be true. Obviously, I doubt this is going to happen. But for all we know, what happens if he comes out next week and throws 300 yards for five touchdowns? Are we going to be praising him as the next Tom Brady? It's one game. I mean, yeah, it wasn't a good game. Yeah, it was terrible. But look how many rookies on their first game ever in NFL played like absolute dog shit. That's literally almost every quarterback that ever played, every position player that ever played.
And I agree with you. By the way, I agree with you that we shouldn't judge him off of this game, and the future is still bright. Hopefully for Dwayne Haskins. I just think that this Washington team is just maybe a hard place for him to really develop right now.
I agree, but this coach is so bad.
The coaching is bad. It just never takes from coaching. The whole franchise right now is bad. It has been bad for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
The offense doesn't look good. The defense doesn't look good. Josh Norman, who we talked about at one point, has been one of the best cornerbacks in the league.
Oh man, he sucks.
Has not been good ever since that breakout year. Adrian Peterson had 11 carries, 28 yards, no touchdowns. Chris Thompson, he tried to do the best he can. 4 reception, 56 yards, not enough. This team itself is just going to be a hard place for Dwayne Haskins to really develop.
That's the one thing that I feel like is going to mess him up because, like you say, it is a hard place. They're not going to develop him properly, in my opinion, where he's probably going to end up being one of those what if or what could have been if he went to a proper system with a proper coach that knows how to develop quarterbacks in the right way. But, I mean, what can you do now? Hopefully he can figure it out a little bit by himself, figure out. Because they always say his biggest problem was reading defenses. He can make all the throws. He knows how the proper footwork. He can evade pressure relatively easily. And he's a big guy, so he's not going to be easy to take down. But the thing is reading a defense, going through his options and seeing who's the best one to throw it to. He forces it a lot. So I feel like this is just a bad spot because, like you said, there's so much things going wrong there. They may not have the proper time to focus on developing him the right way that he's going to end up being that what could have been type of player.
Right, and it's one thing to say that he's forcing it or anything like that, but and the 3 interceptions is what it is. But I see it as more of a person, he's just trying to make plays.
Yeah, it seems like that too.
And if he's a person that's just trying to make plays, and maybe it's not the right ones, it's definitely not going to be the right ones when he has an offense like this who's not going to be able to help him out.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
So, in my opinion, I'm going to see more interceptions. Hopefully not, but I expect more interceptions because he's just going to try to make something happen with his offense that's not going to help him.
You're absolutely right. Because look at it. Like you said, their top rusher was what? Adrian Peterson? Or no, Thompson, you said?
Yeah, Thompson.
Well, yeah, he had 56 yards, right? You said correct? I said
yes.
Correct? So, as a defensive coordinator, you see that. You see these two running backs doing absolutely nothing. You're going to be like, they're not running on us in general, so let's just send the whole freaking team to after Dwayne Haskins. Make him run around and make him make a throw. Obviously, if there's enough pressure, he's going to make the bad throw.
Yeah, and Adrian Peterson as well. Older Adrian Peterson, not the same guy,
Yeah.
not the same legs. You know what I mean? So again, it's a tough spot for him. I'm monitoring it and want to see how Dwayne Haskins does. But Daniel Jones was the real deal. He seems game ready. He seems more game ready. I want to say more game ready than Kyle Murray, but he's one of those quarterbacks.
More wins already. Just saying.
More wins, better system, better opposition he's playing against. I mean, less opposition he's playing against for the most part.
That's very true.
He played against Washington this week. Who did play last week?
The Bucks.
The Bucks.
Yeah, yes, Bucks put up 55 points.
Yeah, but that defense is not amazing right now.
No, it's not. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. To be honest, we probably should have lost that game if that kicker could kick it straight, but we don't talk about that.
But it's all about positioning. It's all about where people are drafted sometimes, where you can make or break some players.
You're absolutely right. And it does get me thinking, what happens if we picked up Haskins? Would he have been this bad, or would we have developed him a little different? Maybe he'd be a little ahead of schedule.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely interesting. It's definitely interesting. But you guys made the right pick.
All right, so let's get into some of these recaps.
Yeah, so I wanna see a win on the Cowboys since you brought them up earlier. Let's get it out the way.
Oh, that bum! Oh man, this guy sucks.
Oh my god! you've been waiting.
I've been dying.
You've been waiting for this moment.
He is bad, man. I'm so happy he got exposed this week.
Cowboys lose to the Saints. Saints score 12. Cowboys only have 10. Cowboys really couldn't get anything really going. The Saints, they're having a hard time without Drew Brees. But they were able to get it done. Terry Bridgewater,
he looked bad too, man.
Yeah.
He looked really bad too.
Yeah, but both quarterbacks didn't score a touchdown, which surprised me. I would have thought Dak would have got at least something up. He entered the game 22 completed, 33 attempted, 223 yards, 1 interception. Ezekiel Elliott had 18 carries, 35 yards, 1 touchdown. Jason Witten had 4 receptions, 50 yards. Amari Cooper had 5 receptions for 48 yards. Randall Cobb had 3 receptions for 41 yards. Just right off the thing, that Cowboys offense, it sounds pretty damn good, but they really couldn't get anything really going.
And it comes back to my point from the very beginning when we were discussing if Zeke was going to play or not and how it affects Dak.
Yeah.
This offense runs through Zeke. If Zeke is not having a good game, that offense is very stagnant. It's obvious there. They couldn't get a touchdown in through the pass at all. They didn't get a touchdown at all. No, they got one with Zeke. Only one that Zeke got in. Dak couldn't do anything. Why? Because the minute they knew Zeke wasn't going to be able to run around them, they were able to put extra pressure on Dak, and Dak couldn't figure it out. It took him to the middle of the third quarter to break, 100 yards, and then he ends up with 223, which isn't good at all, with no touchdowns and 1 interception, and he attempted 22 passes and he was only able to get to 223. It's not a good day at all. And what I say, the minute he goes against a legitimate defense and not none of these bullshit defenses like the Redskins, like the Giants, and like the Dolphins, he's going to be stagnant like he's always been. I've told you that a lot of times. He's not good against legitimate defenses. It's just the facts, man. It's just the facts.
Well, listen, it's one of those things, again, I said it early on. It's one of those things where this week this seemed off for a lot of teams. Can we agree on that?
No, this week in general, absolutely right. It did seem like there was something weird about this week where the teams you expect to dominate or expect to run away, they weren't really doing it.
Not even just expect to dominate, just expect to look better. Look better like it did in the previous weeks. And maybe that's injuries, maybe that's just the road or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, team didn't look good, and Dak Prescott didn't look good. Tell you what you want, Ezekiel Elliott didn't really look good to me.
No, he didn't.
And he hasn't really been looking good since the season started.
No, he hasn't.
I haven't been.
Something's been a little off with him, in my opinion.
And I think to your credit, I think a lot of that is with the holdout and Ezekiel Elliott not really being with the team the whole entire time and the whole contract negotiations and everything like that. And now, that connection of Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott and that team just seems off. They don't seem invincible. They don't seem like they can win that division like they used to.
But then again, who's really competing? Yeah, the Eagles are obviously the only team that I say can compete with them. But even then, I don't see the Eagles really.
Well, I'm glad you said that. So, as we talk about right now, NFC East, looking at how it looks, Dallas Cowboys are 3-1, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're 3-1. Say what you want about the teams they played. They're 3-1.
3-1. Yes, that's right.
Philadelphia Eagles are 2-2. Giants are 2-2. Washington is 0-4. Theoretically, now if the Cowboys are a team like this, they play more games like this against the stronger defenses that are going to play against the Cowboys. I think it gets really interesting. I think it's really interesting to see if the Giants can come back, if the Philadelphia Eagles can come back. They were once Super Bowl champions at one point in time too. That Carson Wentz looks really good. I'm glad he looks healthy. He looks good. He doesn't look like he's compromised at all. So that's promising. If Ezekiel Elliott can't pull it around, and this Cowboys going against tougher defenses are like this, then we have a problem. Then I see this division gets more interesting.
Would you say? I don't even want to say that, but we agree probably the most interesting division is Texas Titans, the AFC South. The Texans. Yes. That's the most interesting division.
I'm glad you brought that up because we talked about it earlier.
But do you think that, like you said, if this is how it turns out, this is how the Cowboys are with harder defenses to play against, wouldn't this be one of the more interesting divisions also? This might be just out there with them too.
No.
Really?
No. And that's not because I called in the preseason that the AFC South was going to be the most interesting division. Which honestly, I agree. We go through the NFC and the
AFC,
the NFC and AFC standings after the second. But the NFC East, to me, you expect either the Eagles or the Cowboys or the Giants, or hopefully the Giants to be in that conversation.
You did not expect that this year.
I expect the Eagles to be in conversation.
Yes, the Eagles, but not the Giants not the Giants at all.
No, but the Giants are always a team that can always sneak in there. I never said the Giants are like horrible and that they can't do it. They can always sneak in with Eli Manning. Obviously, Eli Manning's not the quarterback right now. Daniel Jones is. Daniel Jones actually rejuvenated this team, like we said before. Mm-hmm. So to me, I don't discredit the Giants. I always think the Giants have a chance. They just suck, and they're the Giants are their worst enemy for the most part.
I agree.
The Eagles are Super Bowl champions. They can always come back, especially with Carson Wentz being healthy. And the Dallas Cowboys, they have Ezekiel Elliott. They have Dak Prescott. They have Mark Cooper. They have the best offensive line in the NFC.
And a really good defense.
So I always have high hopes for the Cowboys. So that division, honestly, I can see either one of those three teams making it. The AFC South is where I don't know what's going to happen.
Okay, I understand that. Looking at it right now, every team there is 2-2.
Exactly.
So I understand what you're saying.
Exactly. That AFC South is so unpredictable. I can't really call who it is. I have the Jaguars as the dark horse. And they're not far off.
I'm all in on Gardner Minshew. I am all in on him, man. The guy can play.
I am too, man. I am too.
And Nick Foles I didn't mean to ask you this. Foles is supposed to come back this year, right? Is he expected? Yeah. Is he expected to come back this year? Even if he's not.
I don't think so. I think he's out for the rest of the season.
Say Gardner Minshew leads the Jags 9-7, no playoff appearance.
Mm-hmm.
9-7 though, and a good year.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
I think you have Minshew on the back burner and have Nick Foles start if
I,
Nick Foles is healthy.
that's the thing though. If the kid is doing good, I feel like you can't just be like, you know what, you did good for 1 year, and then we're just gonna put you to the side. I feel like if the kid, because it seems like the chemistry he has in that locker room is at least offensively, it's still really good.
Well, most of that is due to the fact that he was with the team and working with the team in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of chemistry has been built up in the preseason with this team. That's why they're comfortable with him as quarterback right now.
Right.
But I thought Nick Foles was doing really, really good until he got hit making the touchdown pass.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
So it's the same conversation we had with Alex Smith and what we talking about? We talking about Alex Smith. He came back from injury.
Oh, and Haskins and Case
Yeah.
Keenum and Coleman.
Yeah, it's the same argument. The same argument. And in this case, I think it's a shoulder injury, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Excuse me?
It's a shoulder injury. Shoulder injury.
No, broken arm.
Broken arm, shoulder injury, same shit. Yeah, I gotta stick with Nick Foles.
Really? I'm very. I can't tell because, like, I understand they're paying Foles a shit ton of money, so I understand it on that point that if you're paying a guy that much money, you're expecting him to play.
Right.
But this is the quarterback, your backup quarterback, and he's come on and he's kind of, let's be honest, he's put a spark back in Jacksonville that we were hoping, a lot of people were hoping Nick Foles was going to do, but he kind of got that gave Jacksonville like a little swagger to them. You know what I mean? Like now they're because of him, they're top talks in ESPN on NFL Countdown. Everyone's talking about Jaguars and Gardner Minshew. You know, they're talks now.
Well, the problem with that is this is the difference between Alex Smith and Nick Foles when we talk about discussion whether the rookie should step in for the QB. The problem with Nick Foles is that it's an arm injury, so it's not as debilitating as Alex Smith injury was, where he's going to be out for a hot minute.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not as bad of an injury as Alex Smith is. So from that standpoint, and the fact that Nick Foles looked good starting for the Jaguars early on, and it was a touchdown pass, a touchdown bomb that got the injury started in the first place. I think the thing with Minshew is that nobody expected Minshew to come out and look good.
That's the thing. You're absolutely right about that.
So I think it's one of those things where it's like Daniel Jones, where the expectation is so low that when he reaches the expectations, like, oh my God, it's the greatest thing in the world. Where I still think you gotta go Nick Foles.
Well, it's a problem that if it's good, it's a good problem to have. You have excessive amount of quarterbacks that they could both be good. It's just me personally. I feel like if the guy is having a good year, you can't really sit in for that. I don't agree with that logic, especially if he's a rookie quarterback that came in and did this. I feel you got to reward him, or at least go to them both come training camp and be like, best quarterback gets it. Who cares? Who cares who's making what money? We're going with the best quarterback. I'd agree with that logic.
But going back to the Giants and the Saints, right? Let's say this is a one-off with the Cowboys, and they improve, and they're the Cowboys of old from last previous weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you see this Cowboys team being a contender, being a contender for going to the Super Bowl?
Unfortunately, yeah,
I do too.
Unfortunately,
and that's why I'm hesitant to say.
What team in the NFC is really? You just sit there and you're like, oh wow, this team is really good. There's no team there right now that I'm looking at and I'm like, okay, if they go against this team, they can't win. If they go against this team, they can't win. Like, look, the Saints without Drew Brees, we don't know how he'll come back, so we don't know what he's gonna be like. They'll probably beat him. The Packers, I feel like that'd be a nice little game, but I do give the edge to the Cowboys because they have a better defense.
And a better offense.
I give it a little bit more to the Packers just because of Rodgers.
Really?
It's solely because of Rodgers, to be honest with you.
Well, we look at the game with the Eagles. Look at the game with the Eagles, and that's a great segue. The game with the Eagles. Eagles beat the Packers 34-27. Most of that was based on Aaron Rodgers and how great of a game he was having.
Exactly.
So I don't credit the Packers' weapons that Aaron Rodgers is going to use better than Dak Prescott's weapons. Dak Prescott has Amari Cooper. He has Jason Witten. He has Ezekiel Elliott.
Yes, he does.
The Packers had a hard time running the ball.
No, he does. But if you're telling me right now, one game in the playoffs, win or go home, Dak Prescott leading the Cowboys, Aaron Rodgers leading the Packers, I'm going Aaron Rodgers and the Packers 9 times out of 10, just because I know that guy could do it, and no matter who he's playing around, he's going to find a way to get it done. I can't say the same shit about Dak. I cannot say the same thing that if I need Dak, say it comes down to 2 minutes left in the game, down a touchdown, I could tell you right now with no doubt in my eyes that Aaron Rodgers is going to march down the field and he's going to get you the goddamn touchdown. I can't say the same thing about Dak.
I meant to just say that. So who has the better defense, Eagles or Cowboys, in your opinion?
Eagles. Cowboys, I mean. Faster.
Okay,
a lot faster.
Okay, so with the Eagles doing what they did to the Packers, again, we could say that this week 4 was a very weird week, or what you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at the Packers' offensive weapons, Jimmy, what's his name? I'm sorry, Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham was targeted so many times.
He was targeted 6 times. That's not a lot. Devontae Adams was targeted 10 times for 180 yards.
I'm sorry. Devontae Adams, who I was thinking of. I had a brain freeze for a second. But Devontae Adams is probably his best weapon on that team.
Yeah, and he got 180 yards. He had 10 catches, 180 yards. How can you get mad at him for that?
I'm looking at the weapons that the Cowboys have. I'm looking at the weapons that the Eagles have. It's just a little bit more.
No, a little bit more. It is. You're absolutely right.
So I can't sit here and say that Aaron Rodgers by himself is going to lead the team. Not with the offensive.
Okay, but put it like this: you're a big basketball fan.
Yeah.
So that's like saying, okay, I'm the best player. I'm the best player in basketball right now.
Mm-hmm.
You're middle of the pack, a little bit above average player, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the best supporting cast. I have decent supporting cast, right? You have a phenomenal supporting cast.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are going to go with my team solely because of me, because I'm the best player in the world. Aaron Rodgers, skill-wise, is the best quarterback in football right now.
I agree.
I'm going to go with him 9 times out of 10 because he, even with a decent supporting cast, he's going to find a way to win when it's most needed. That's just my whole thing. If you need a touchdown in the last 2 minutes to win the game or tie the game, he's going to get you that touchdown. Or he's going to put you damn near close to actually go for it to get a touchdown. Dak, I can't say the same. Say they're down a touchdown, and they need to go the whole 100 yards to get a touchdown to tie the game at least. Are you confident to say with that team, Dak's going to do it?
You know what? I'm not going to sit here and judge Dak Prescott off of this week. I'm not.
No, I'm not either. But in general, from all I've seen, Dak, I'm not confident to say that he's going to go down the field. I'm confident Aaron Rodgers would do that. Dak, I'm not confident with that to say that.
I'm confident with the weapons that Dak Prescott has, and to your, I guess not to your point, really. I'm saying, I think Dak Prescott is good. I think he's a good quality quarterback. I think he can get the job done, and he's shown in a game, even against the Saints. Even against the Saints, he showed a little spurts of like, he has good QB IQ.
He scored 10 points.
Listen,
he didn't have a touchdown.
We're saying we're not going to judge him off of this week.
You're the one that brought it up. You can't say the guy had a terrible game. He played like dog shit.
Right, maybe he played like dog shit, but he's shown flashes of QB intelligence that tells me, late in the game, he could make smart
Well,
decisions.
I would hope so. The guy's a freaking NFL quarterback. I'd hope he has some type of smarts that he knows how to read. He's been in it for 2 years. I'd hope he'd have it. If he didn't and he's still doing it just shows how bad, what's his face, Jason Garrett is at evaluating his team.
You would not give Dak Prescott any, even when I'm trying to give Dak Prescott
I know.
something.
I'm giving it to him. He
You
should
just
have
do not give him anything.
I'm giving it to him. He should have this knowledge. Yes, he did show it, but to sit there and say that that's what he's been in the league for 2 years. He wants to get 3 years. I'm sorry, and he wants to get paid like a top 5 quarterback.
But he should.
He shouldn't be your only argument then shouldn't be that he had spurts of he had good QB. No, if you're gonna be paid as a top quarterback, you should be. If you're gonna say he had a bad game, yeah, but he still made a sick throw 70 yards on the dime. No, he didn't do that. Or he had a great play and evaded the pressure and made a great play to extend the drive.
I'm saying that just take this week out of it. Take your performance out of it. In the past, and even in this game to a degree, he's shown to have. You talk about Aaron Rodgers going in the last part of the game, and him he needs a touchdown. Dak Prescott showed me in the past, and even in this game to a degree, that he can get you down the field for a touchdown. That's what I'm saying. And with the weapon that Dak Prescott has, I want to go with Dak Prescott and the Cowboys more so than the Packers. If you disagree at this point in time,
so put it like this: they're both playing the number 2 ranked defense in NFL right now.
Yes, go ahead.
Same teams, Cowboys, Packers. They're both playing the number 2 ranked defense. You're more confident that Dak Prescott will go 100 yards to score a touchdown more than Aaron Rodgers?
Yes.
Oh my God, I can't talk to you no more.
Yes, just because I have more faith not only in Dak Prescott, but the weapons around him that can help him get there.
I have more faith. Who did he ever have? When did Aaron Rodgers ever have a legitimate wideout? Davante Adams has been his best wideout, him and Jordy Nelson. And when he had Jordy Nelson was always injured.
Dude, this is
cracked ribs half his life.
Dude, this is not an argument. This is a clear distinction. If the person who has the better weapons is a good quality quarterback, he can get you a touchdown more so than the guy that is a good quarterback without any goddamn.
He's not just a good quarterback. He's arguably the best quarterback in the NFL. Arguably the best.
Throw it to one guy that you can rely on.
Huh?
Throw it to one guy that you can rely on. Davante Adams.
One guy you can rely on. How many times has he had only one time he can rely on? One guy to rely on. He's always had just one guy to rely on, and he still got it done all the time. Who did he have the year? Who did he have to throw it to when they won the Super Bowl? Me, you, and the homeless guy that lives outside. And he still won the Super Bowl.
Dude, it's not an argument. Dak Prescott has weapons next to him that can help him. What's so controversial about this?
No, because to say that because he has weapons, you're more confident that he will go down the field. No.
Yes.
Because no, not at all. I'm more confident. I am more confident in the best quarterback in football to take me down with the freaking homeless people outside than with Dak Prescott and freaking that and whoever the hell he has.
Damn it, Sergio! Take your cowboy bias out of it.
It's not even it's not even cowboy bias. If you put
Dak Prescott is the top 10 ranked quarterback in the league right now. Knock it off.
Okay. Let's put it like this: 2 different quarterbacks.
Aaron Rodgers is in the conversation in top 10.
Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Not in passing leader stats right now. Not now because you don't have the freaking weapon to throw it to.
I am in utter shock. Aaron Rodgers is number 2 in the league right now as probably the most skilled quarterback, and he's going down as one of the best quarterbacks in football all time.
Not right now in these stats. I'll read the stats right now. How about this? Patrick Mahomes, what do you know? Number 1. Number 2 behind him, Matt Ryan. Number 3, Philip Rivers. Number 4, Jared
See,
Goff. Number 5,
okay. See, that's where you're wrong. That's where you're already wrong.
How am I wrong?
Because you just made Matt Ryan and Philip Rivers. They're playing like dog shit. Not one of them is 1-3, and the other one's what, 2-2?
More passing yards.
Yeah, but I'm talking about as the player, not passing yards. Daniel Jones has more passing yards than freaking Kyler Murray, I think. Does it mean he's better? No.
Kyler Murray has more passing yards than Daniel Jones. That's besides the point. Passing yards, I'm looking at it from the standpoint of who is Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball to, and how is he going to get these points?
He's throwing it to Davante Adams, throwing it to Jimmy Graham, to Geronimo Allison.
Only
3 guys right there that catch the ball. And Geronimo Allison actually did play well.
Amari Cooper, Jason Witten. You still have Ezekiel Elliott. You still have Randall Cobb. You still have a great offensive line. You still have a great defense going to help you out. What's the controversy? What is the controversy?
Agree to disagree.
I
am gonna pop a freaking vein.
Take the boner of Aaron Rodgers out of your mouth.
Take the boner of Dak out of your mouth. You've been blowing him since freaking week 1.
Motion detected at the doorbell.
Let's move on.
Oh man.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
Man, you're stressing me out here, man.
Listen, let me unstress. Let me talk about the Raiders, huh? How we talk about that? The Raiders beat the Raiders.
Surprised.
Don't cut me off.
No, I'm giving you a compliment. I am surprised by the Raiders this year so far. Extremely surprised. They are playing very, very well.
They are. Against all the odds, the Raiders are doing pretty well. They 31-24 against the Colts. Derek Carr completed 21 out of 31 attempts, 189 yards, 2 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs looks good, 17 carries, 79 yards. Darren Waller, 7 receptions, 53 yards. This is a name that I love to see back. Keelan Doss back on the team. Only targeted once, 14 yards, but I have very high hopes of Keelan Doss. Yeah, they beat the Raiders. They beat the Raiders.
Beat the Raiders. You hear yourself?
No, that's what I said.
You said they beat the Raiders. They beat the Colts.
They beat the Colts. Yes. You know what it is? I'm so happy. I'm so happy that the Raiders are doing well. That it's almost flat. It's almost worse sometimes. You know, the Raiders are a team going into the season with they had Antonio Brown, they didn't have Antonio Brown, and then he was like, oh my God, they're not gonna have good receivers. And just out of nowhere, you're seeing Darren Waller step up, you're seeing Tyrell Williams step up, now you have Keelan Doss there, Josh Jacobs looks good. You know, this Raiders team looks like a motivated team, looks like a team that wants to prove that they're not a laughing stock in the NFL. And I'm excited, man.
I'll tell you this. Derek Carr did throw for 189 yards. It wasn't a lot. Wasn't a shit ton of yards.
No.
But as a whole game, he looked confident in the pocket. He got there. He stepped back, and it was because you've noticed how last year, especially when he just came off the injury, he would take his 2 steps back, 3 steps back, and throw first option. First option. He didn't go through his reads at all. Now you're seeing that he takes steps back. He looks at his first option. He'll look at his second option. He'll look at his third option. He'll see the whole field. He looks more comfortable now. And I'm hoping now that's because it's like, a year after the big injury now that he's finally starting to get back into that MVP feel that he had right before he got injured.
Yeah, I think also what it has to do with, remember, the point of this season was Antonio Brown and Derek Carr connection. And so that went away, and now it's like, okay, who am I throwing the ball to? Darren Waller is stepping up. Tyrell Williams is stepping up. Keelan Doss, who I think is going to be a big component to that offense, is now on the team. I think Derek Carr is now rallying behind this team. without Antonio Brown, without people looking at them going into the season as laughing stocks of how they're mismanaging this organization.
Quick question about the mismanagement. How much do you give this success to Gruden?
You have to give some portion to John Gruden. You have to.
Okay.
You have to. When you look,
do you say because he got the locker room together, or do you think it's actually because he's that good of a play caller?
I think it's I would say more towards the locker room. I think the play caller thing is still to be seen. I'll still give it more time to really evaluate, that aspect of it. But I think I'm just rallying the locker room. When you look at even the Hard Knocks, which was a great season this year to cover the Raiders. You just see the camaraderie, and you see even in interviews, you see, behind the scenes on the sideline, you see how outspoken he is. And the whole incident with Antonio Brown and everybody looking
now
at
Vontaze Burfict.
Well, not even really that, but the Antonio Brown situation, people calling him a laughing stock and mismanagement, and whether we talked about whether he'd be coaching, a year from now. I think it really lit a fire under him, and I think the Raiders are looking to prove that they're not a laughing stock and they can be a contender.
Okay, I agree. Now another question with the Vontaze Burfict incident. Number one, I just want to get off my chest. I am extremely happy he's gone.
Really?
He should not be in this. The guy is literally belongs in Creedmoor. There's something wrong with him, to be completely honest with you. Because you can't, if you see the hits that this guy has been doing throughout his whole career, it's not like this was just a one-time incident. There's something wrong with him where he just sees a defenseless receiver like that and goes in his head, he thinks it's okay to go head first into this guy's face mask. Like, he needs to be. I'm glad he's suspended for the rest of the year, and I do hope that they just ban him from football because we don't need that type of. I'm all for the big hits. I'm all for laying someone on their ass. I don't like the flags and everything, but there's a limit to it. When you see a guy on his knees catching a ball, trying to get back up, and you just see a guy going head first into his face mask with no remorse, that's something you can't do that. But I want to ask you, how do you think this affects the Raiders going forward?
I think it affects them a lot. I think, one thing I thought about this defense is it relied more on that heavy, that toughness. That's why they got, the rookie Jonathan Abrams. Mm-hmm. That's why they got Vontaze Burfict. They wanted to have a tough defense that will get after these players. And to the detriment, that's a lot of penalties, a lot of silly penalties, a lot of penalties that they really didn't need to have. But I think it was the goal to have a person like Vontaze Burfict, like a person like Jonathan Abrams on the team, to have a scary defense and a physical defense. I think this really hurts them because this obviously they wanted Vontaze Burfict to be that bruiser, on the defense side. But you're right. To a point, it has to be the limit. The limits are, the defensive hits, the helmet to helmets. Which I want to say this though, I've seen a lot of helmet to helmets hits this.
Absolutely.
Season alone,
absolutely right. But his was more blatant, just disregard for the rules, and he kind of just said he knew it. He made it look like, all right, the play's dead. I'm just gonna get an extra free hit. Now, am I saying that the other guys it was mistake? No, it was probably. There's a lot of guys that should have been fine for it, but the fact that he has a history, yes, I agree with you. Yes,
I agree. I agree with that's where the line is drawn, where he has a history. But I will say this though, I'm seeing a lot of helmet to helmets. I'm seeing not a lot of people talk about the helmet to helmets. I'm seeing like reference before at the Eagles game where Maddox, I believe the Avonte Maddox. That whole entire game against the Eagles were helmet steady.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What? That was such a physical. Everything was just going straight at each other for no reason.
To the point where Avonte Maddox had a helmet to helmet hit, and then his own player trying to pop somebody on the Packers went straight to Avonte Maddox.
Yeah, and they don't call it though. They made such a big issue about it, but And you know what's scary? And I've heard multiple NFL players come out and say this,
Yeah.
that those type of hits happen almost on every play. The reason why we don't see it is because the cameras aren't on it, because it happens within the trenches. So you're not a lot of times, like when you're watching the game, how often are you looking at the O line and the D line the whole play? You're more looking at the quarterback, the receivers. You know what I mean? So you're not paying attention to that.
But like the Eagles and Packers game alone, like I clearly see those helmet-to-helmet hits. Like
right.
if I can see on TV with the cameras that they have at their disposal, and the people have officiating behind the scenes, they should be able to see it too.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But
I don't see any fines being thrown out. I don't see any letters being issued. But you're right. Roethlisberger has a history, so that's obvious. An obvious choice. Other than that, I want to see a lot more discretion for other players that I've seen from the Eagles. Other teams as well with the helmet hits.
I agree. I definitely think it needs to be more.
I mean, Chandler Jones even.
He laid the shit out of somebody.
Yeah.
What? He popped him right in his dome piece too.
Yeah. So again, we gotta draw a line.
You're right.
We gotta draw a line. We gotta draw a line. But yeah, the Raiders look good. They beat the Colts. The Colts without Andrew Luck, I think we'll pretty much set it from the start that it's going to be a rough season for them. And that AFC South, like we said before, is the interesting division because you don't know what's going to win. The Texans are a team where they look good, but can that offensive line stand up? Could Deshaun Watson stand up? Could stay around for the rest of the season? The Jaguars, Minshew show is on track. The Colts without Andrew Luck, how does that look? And Marcus Mariota, they're still proving that they're a tough team out against anybody. So
they're no pushover. You're absolutely right.
So that division is going to be interesting.
I completely agree with you. Completely agree.
Man, let's close out on this, right? The Chiefs and Lions.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the game live?
Yes, I did. I did see that game live.
I was on the edge of my seat the whole entire time.
I wasn't until the second half. And the reason why I was, for the first half, most of it, I was just kind of waiting for just Mahomes to wake up and go for a big plays, get the ball back, throw another big play. I was kind of waiting. But then when the second half came, I was like, it's clicked in my head. I'm like, this shit might be a dog match where it's going to come down to he's going to make a big play. The Colts are going to come back and with their own answer. They're going to punch with the fist, and they're going to come back with their own punch. And they just come back until it literally – I thought the Colts had it, to be honest with you. I thought the Colts had it. I really did.
And they came out strong against Kansas City, going 10-0 in the first quarter. And then the Kansas City was obviously able to tie it up and go into the half. And then just from there on, it was just a dogfight. It really was. Patrick Mahomes did not look himself. Had 24 completed, 42 attempted, 315 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions with all that yards, and all that.
His first game he's had that with no touchdowns.
Yes. LaShawn McCoy, 11 carries, 56 yards, 1 touchdown. Sammy Watkins, 3 receptions, 54 yards. Travis Kelce, 7 receptions, 85 yards. So it was a very weird game seeing them. Usually we see them that high power offense and just didn't look at this time. You can give that credit to the Lions, and the Lions this year have something to prove. They
do. I think this is the year Matthew Stafford has to make some noise. He really does.
From the jump with going against Kyle Murray in that tie, they've just seemed like a different team. There's a different energy about the Lions. It's like there's just about the Giants now, but just with the Lions early on, it's just something so different.
Yeah,
something still feels different.
Completely agree with you.
Matthew Stafford goes 21 of 34, 291 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's a really, really good game. Kenyon Johnson, 26 carries, 125 yards.
That was the key player. I felt like he was the one that kind of kept everything together. Because when was the last time the Lions really had a dominant running game? Where they don't have it as often as people would think, because they usually are a competing team. They usually are a team that you see them competing within towards the end of the season. But realistically, that's all on Matthew Stafford. They don't have a running game that's, oh shit, we gotta make sure we stop the running game. Oh shit, we gotta make sure we stop the running game. They don't have that. And the fact that they had it this week is the reason why they were able to keep up with such a high-powered offense in the Chiefs. Plus, their defense played absolutely amazing for the first half.
Kenny Galladay did pretty damn good. 5 receptions, 67 yards, 2 touchdowns. This one hurts for me. The rookie tight end, TJ
Hawkinson.
Hawkinson, yeah, he's hurt.
He was such a big prospect coming out. I think he came out of Iowa. He was such a big prospect too.
He's played really well. He's played really well every single game.
He is, yes.
You know, I meant to bring this up to you. When I watched the Cardinals and the Lions game, if it wasn't for Kyle Murray's late run to tie it up, that game would have been about TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah, absolutely. He went off. He was such a big prospect coming out of Iowa. I think it was Iowa. He was such a big prospect coming out of Iowa, and people were comparing him to being a smaller type Gronk. And everyone was like, well, if you get him, he's going to put up consistently these type of points. He's just a big dude. He looks like a literally a center in basketball compared to all these linebackers and safeties. He's
able to block for you. He's able to go out and get it. It's a tough one, man. And I really like this guy. I hope he's able to come back. He's okay. He looked okay. He was able to get up. He was able to move around. So that's it. That was good to see. They kept for concussions, obviously. So hopefully we'll see him back later this year, man. I think he's a huge piece to that Lions offense.
I agree. The guy that's a big piece Stafford's going to need if they want to keep making if they want to make a run for at least like a playoff spot and a run into the playoffs.
But yeah, Patrick Mahomes though, man. Patrick Mahomes able to get the job done.
And the touchdown into no touchdown. This is one game. I'm not putting too much stock into that.
But no, we talked about late game IQ and who you went in the trenches with you going to late games. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be on that list soon enough.
I agree. I completely agree. Agree with you. He has that it factor that ice in the veins. You know what I mean?
I agree, man. And it just makes you think, how are we going to stop this team even when Patrick Mahomes is not throwing for a touchdown? How are you going to stop this team? Even on their off day, they're still that damn good. They're still that damn good. I don't know how you stop it, honestly. And I mean, they're gonna get better. He's not gonna have games like this a lot. So when he does, you have to beat him. And if you don't, what can I tell you? And it also looks like they're having fun out there too. You see Travis Kelce going up for a reception
and throwing it
back. Like it just seems like they're having fun. It's like they're loose. It just seems like they're having a good time playing with each other. And when they're having a fun time playing with each other, they're loose. They're able to just have that freedom and that creativity in game. It makes them scary. It makes them really, really scary.
Really scary. I agree, my man. They're definitely up there with the Patriots as teams that they're. I wouldn't be surprised if 1-2 those are the teams that either one goes to the Super Bowl. And to be honest, neither should anybody else. Neither should anybody else.
I'm interested to see who cracks the code. Because I think in the season, you're going to see somebody crack the code of the Chiefs and figure out, okay, if we could do this, or hold them here, or stop this person, or rush here, we could get a job done. I'm interested to see somebody crack the code, and then we'll start seeing other people follow suit.
I agree. And to be honest, I don't know what that code is. From all the times I've watched them, I can't tell you what that code is at all. No idea.
I don't know either. Even when Patrick Mahomes make a mistake,
they find
like the no look passes and stuff like that. They just still are. the team to beat. They still are the people that even when the chick in the armor, they're able to fix it up real quick and get the job done.
Yep, and it's with them. Even like you said, chink in the armor. If they get a guy that's struggling or a guy that gets injured, it seems like it's next man up.
Yeah,
especially with Mahomes leading it, they feel like they just gotta get someone out there that could at least catch the ball. Mahomes will do the rest. It seems like.
Yeah. So, man, any final notes on this week?
No, you covered it. Strange week in the sense of wasn't really expecting what happened, but very telling week, very good week, and very excited for week 5. Very excited for week 5.
I cannot wait either, man. I'm week by week. This NFL season has been great so far.
So far, it's every week is a different story, and I love it, to be honest with you.
And unpredictable.
Very unpredictable, and to be honest, like you said, AFC South, we don't know. I wasn't expecting it to be 2-2-2-2 for everybody 4 weeks in.
Yeah.
But like you said, week by week, it's a different story. It's a fun, unpredictable story.
And the Giants, man, they're 2-2 right now. They seem that they have new energy, new life in them. Who knows? Who knows?
You're absolutely right. You never know what can happen with Danny Dimes.
I do want to bring this up though. Odell Beckham Jr. has one touchdown. Only had one touchdown. I think for the season so far.
Yeah, the 88-yarder.
Do you think he have regrets?
Do I have regrets or he has regrets?
Does he have regrets?
No, he didn't want to be here. He didn't want to be here. I doubt he has regrets. On top of that, he's on such a much better team. He has a better chance competing with his first Super Bowl with that team. I don't think he has regrets. Do I think we have regrets? They never admit it, but probably.
You know what? To me, still, even though they beat the Ravens, as impressive as it was, it was one of those weird weeks. I'm still not sold.
Neither am I, but if you're gonna pick between the Browns and the Giants, you better pick the Browns. They're a much better team than us. I'll be the first to admit that.
I don't have them as the dark horse to win that Super Bowl either.
As of right now, no, but 4 weeks in, you never know. We could be week 10 and we could be saying that this team is probably the best team in football for all we know.
Yeah,
you never know.
We never know. Well, what we will know is that we'll be back here next Tuesday. We got a baseball game to watch right now, don't we?
Yeah, we do, man. It's a big time of the year. NFL, hockey, and MLB playoffs. It's gonna be a fun time. And NBA starting up soon too, man. This is the best time of the year.
It is, man. We'll be back here next Tuesday at 6:00. Signing off. My name is Tyree Simon.
My name is Sergio Marquez.
And you're watching Play Action. See you next week, guys.
See you next week, guys.